Good morning, everyone. Today, we present the topic Coca-Cola and Pepsi, cultural significance in American consumerism. Although these companies are best known for selling soft drinks, their influence extends far beyond beverages. Over the years, they have shaped consumer habits, advertising strategies, and even cultural identity. Before discussing their influence, let's first understand why these two brands uh, became uh, became such powerful symbols in American society. In today's globalized world, corporations are not only economic organizations but also creators of culture. Among the most influential examples are Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Through more than a century of development, they have transformed ordinary soft drinks into global cultural icons. The products can be found almost everywhere, from classrooms, restaurants, to sports events and family gatherings. Because of this widespread presence, these brands provide an interesting lens through which they can examine American values, lifestyles, and consumer culture. Now that we have introduced the topic, let's begin with the first aspect: branding identity and cultural symbolism. Our first section focuses on branding identity and how Coca-Cola and Pepsi became cultural symbols within American consumer culture. Coca-Cola and Pepsi are more than just beverage brands. Over time, both companies have built strong identities that reflect different aspects of American society. Through advertising and marketing, they communicate values, they communicate values, lifestyles, and cultural messages to consumers around the world. However, they do so in very different ways. Coca-Cola emphasizes traditions and emotional connection, while Pepsi focuses on youth energy and modern cultures. Among these two brands, Coca-Cola is perhaps the strongest example of a company associated with traditional American values. One of Coca-Cola's most successful branding strategies was its use of Santa Claus in Christmas advertising. Since the 1930s, Coca-Cola has presented Santa as a warm, friendly figure who enjoys spending time with families and children. These advertisements connected the brand with holiday celebrations, family reunions, and feelings of happiness. As a result, Coca-Cola became closely associated with nostalgia and the traditional American way of life. Besides Santa Claus, Coca-Cola developed another iconic symbol that further strengthened its emotional connection with consumers. In 1993, Coca-Cola introduced its famous Polar Bears campaign. This friendly bear represented happiness, friendship, and family affections. Through this campaign, Coca-Cola reinforced its image as a brand that brings people together and creates positive memories. Over time, Coca-Cola became more than a product. It became a familiar part of everyday life and American culture itself. While Coca-Cola focuses on family traditions and emotional connections, Pepsi chose a completely different direction. Pepsi positioned itself as the brand of youth energy and popular culture. Instead of emphasizing tradition, Pepsi collaborates with celebrities such as Michael Jackson, Madonna, Beyonce, and Lady Gaga. The partnerships have created a dynamic, fashionable, and modern image. Through music, entertainment, and celebrity culture, Pepsi has successfully connected with our younger generation and built a strong global following. Beyond branding, both companies also owe much of their success to their powerful global distributor systems. The growth of Coca-Cola and Pepsi would not have been possible without efficient supply chains. Today, their products are distributed in more than 200 countries and can be found in schools, restaurants, convenience stores, cinemas, and sports stadiums. These global networks do more than deliver beverages. They also spread American consumer values such as convenience, speed, and mass consumption to international markets. However, strong distribution alone is not enough. Another important factor behind their success is psychological branding. Next, we will explore how Coca-Cola and Pepsi use psychological branding to influence consumers and create long-lasting emotional connections. One of Pepsi's most famous campaigns was the Pepsi Challenge in 1975. Consumers participated in blind taste tests between Pepsis and Cola without knowing which drinks they were tasting. This allowed the product itself to speak for its quality. The campaign challenged traditional advertising methods and had Pepsi compete more effectively against its biggest rival. The Pepsi challenge was not only the beginning. Pepsi continued to strengthen its image through entertainment and popular culture. Pepsi expanded its influence through major cultural events, including Super Bowl commercials and music concerts. By partnering with famous artists and entertainers, the brand developed a cool and energetic image that resonated with young audiences around the world. These campaigns helped Pepsi become closely associated with excitement, modernity, and youthful ambition. This youth-oriented strategy can still seen in Pepsi marketing's activity today. In many countries, including Vietnam, Pepsi continued to engage directly with young consumers through music festivals and cultural events. By sponsoring concerts and working with local artists, Pepsi strengthens its relationship with younger audiences and remains relevant in rapidly changing markets. While Pepsi focuses on excitement and youth engagement, Coca-Cola relies on a different psychological strategy. Coca-Cola's advertising is built around emotion rather than product features. Its campaigns often emphasize family gatherings, friendship, celebration, and happiness. Instead of simply selling a beverage, Coca-Cola sells experiences and memories. This emotional approach allows consumers to develop a personal connection with the brand that goes beyond taste and convenience. The strength of this emotional connection became especially clear during one famous event in Coca-Cola's history. In 1985, Coca-Cola introduced a new formula known as New Coke. The company expected consumers to welcome the change, but the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Many consumers demanded the return of the original formula. This response demonstrated that Coca-Cola was no longer just a product. For many Americans, it presented tradition, identity, and cultural heritage. The new Coke incident clearly illustrates the power of branding and emotional attachments. Although these brand strategies have been highly successful, they have also generated criticism. The success of Coca-Cola and Pepsi has not come without controversy. The next section examines some of the negative consequences associated with modern consumer culture and corporate marketing practices. One major concern involves the way companies target young consumers through school partnerships, sponsorships, and youth-focused advertising. Both brands encourage loyalty from an early age. Critics argue that repeated exposure to these products can influence children's preferences and purchasing decisions long before they are fully aware of marketing strategies. In today's digital age, these concerns have expanded beyond traditional advertising. Social media platform has created a new opportunity for companies to reach consumers. Coca-Cola and Pepsi increasingly collaborate with influencers on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube to promote their products. Because because the promotions often appears as ordinary lifestyle content, audience may not immediately recognize them as advertisements. As influencer marketing became more common, another issue began to emerge. Influencer marketing often blurs the line between authentic personal recommendations and paid promotion. Consumers may engage with branded content without realizing they are being targeted by advertising. Furthermore, hashtag campaigns and user-generated content encourage audiences to actively participate in promoting brands, extending corporate influence through digital culture. Besides ethical concerns in advertising, public health has become another major topic of debate. Coca-Cola and Pepsi products contain significant amounts of added sugar, which have been linked to obesity, diabetes, and other health problems. As awareness of this risk has increased, governments around the world have introduced sugar taxes and warning labels to reduce excessive consumptions. This reflects the growing tension between corporate profit objectives and public health priorities. Health is not only concerned, environmental sustainability has also become an important challenge. Environmental organizations frequently criticize Coca-Cola and Pepsi for their reliance on plastic packaging. Despite sustainability initiatives, both companies remain among the world's largest contributors of plastic waste. The issue highlights the environmental cost of mass consumption and raises important questions about corporate responsibility in the modern economy. After examining both the positive influence and the criticism surrounding these brands, we can now draw some final conclusions. The rivalry between Coca-Cola and Pepsi represents much more than competition in the beverage industry. Through different branding approaches, Coca-Cola became associated with tradition, family, and nostalgia, while Pepsi built its identity around youth music and modern culture. Their global expansion have spread American consumer values worldwide, but their influence had also raised concerns regarding youth marketing, public health, and environmental sustainability. Ultimately, Coca-Cola and Pepsi demonstrate how multinational corporations can shape culture, influence consumer behavior, and become lasting symbols of national identity. Thank you for your listening.